Hi everyone and welcome back. My name is Mel and I'm the founder of Glow Organic. So today I'm going to show you an everyday look using all the Ere Perez products. Ere Perez has been a really popular brand since we launched them late last year or early this year, I can't quite remember now. They've been a bestseller for us since we launched, so I thought I would show you some of the products. Okay, so I have nothing on my skin. I've just recently cleansed it just with some micellar water. And I'm going to start with the Australian Blue Cypress Face Nectar. This is a really lightweight oil that's a really good base for makeup. So if your skin is slightly unbalanced, you find you've got any dry patches or it's excessively oily, it's just generally not too happy. This is a really good base for balancing out the sebum production in your skin. It provides a really nice smooth base, moisturised base for your makeup. And in terms of the texture, it's quite a lightweight oil. It's not a kind of greasy, heavy oil, so it's really good for wearing during the day. So I'm just going to take a couple of drops, 3 drops of this. And then I'm just going to press it into the skin. You can take this down the neck as well. So this gives a really nice glowy finish to your makeup. So if you find that your skin is looking a little bit tired, a little bit dull, and you want just a bit of a lift and a bit of a pick-me-up, then this oil is definitely one to reach for in the mornings. And as I say, it's really nice and light, so you're not going to kind of end up with a slippery, greasy base that's difficult to apply foundation and concealer on top of. Around my eyes, I just want to give a little bit of hydration around there. And I'm also going to apply the same product to my lips because I'm going to put some lipstick on later, and this will really help to moisturise my lips while I do the rest of my skin and then come to the lips later on. So this is the Cranberry Lip and Eye Butter, and this is just, again, it's more like a sort of very lightweight moisturising cream, and I just take a tiny dab with my finger and then just pop a little bit underneath the eye. Again, this just helps to provide a really nice smooth moisturised base for concealer, and then you can apply the same product to your lips as a lip balm. So for foundation, I'm going to use the Quinoa Water Foundation, and this is really good for every day because it just provides a really nice sheer, lightweight finish, and it's really natural on the skin, so it doesn't look like you're really wearing makeup. It just helps to even out the skin tone. So I find it dries to kind of like a matte, natural finish, and it really lasts on the skin. It really you don't really need to top it up at all throughout the day, I find, and even on my kind of combination to oily skin. And this is shade Haze that I'm using, which is the lightest shade. I'm just going to do a couple of drops on the back of my hand. I'm going to start with 3 drops, and I'm going to take the Ere Perez multi-purpose foundation brush, which is a buffing brush. And the key with this foundation to get the best application is to use it in very small areas of the face, because it dries to a sort of a matte finish. You have to work quite quickly with it, and then once it's set on the skin, it's set and it's there and it's not moving. So you need to make sure that you're working in small areas rather than dabbing a little bit all over and then trying to buff it in, because that's just not going to work with this one. So I've put a little bit on the back of my hand. I'm going to take a little bit on the brush and then just start to work it in. And it just helps to cover up any redness. So it's not going to be enough to cover my acne scarring on my chin. That I will tackle with the concealer afterwards. But what it does do is just even out the skin tone. Using the face nectar before this really helps it to glide onto the skin. So rather than it kind of dragging and drying and looking matte and settling into dry patches, using a really good base before this foundation is key. And you can also build it up in layers. So I have a little bit of redness around my nose area, so I can add a little bit more there and then just make sure I'm buffing and blending it in quickly, and then just adds a little more coverage there. I don't tend to apply much foundation on my forehead because I find it doesn't really need it. I do apply a little bit in between my brows because again I've got a couple of scars there, and then whatever's left of my brush I take on my forehead, but I'm not actually putting anything on there. For concealer, I'm going to use the Arnica concealer, and this is a really good all-round concealer for under the eyes, for blemishes, for covering scarring, for covering acne, for covering red patches, rosacea. It's a really creamy consistency, it blends very easily, and it's also buildable, so you can again add layers, you can add more coverage where you need it, or you can have a really sheer layer and just have a really light coverage. I'm taking my finger, and this is shade Honey, and I'm going to apply a little bit underneath the eyes just to lift the dark circles there, and I'm using it with my ring finger and then just patting it underneath, and this just blends into the skin so easily. It just looks like second skin. It really melts in, and then once that's blended in, I haven't got anything on my finger, I'm just going to smooth over my eyelid just to give a little bit of a base there. Same on the other side. So I'm also going to add a little bit on the scarring on my chin, where I have some post-inflammatory scars. And again, I'm just dabbing this on a tiny bit around my nose. So onto eyes, and I'm going to use the Chamomile eyeshadow palette, and this is in Gorgeous, which is this really lovely neutral browns, taupes, champagnes. It's a really nice everyday palette, but you can also use it as an evening palette and then maybe just add a little bit of a smoky black liner or something like that. So I'm going to take the second shade in from the left, and my blending brush, this is the line and blend brush from Ere Perez. I'm going to take the blending side, which is this big fluffy side, and then that's just going to go all over the eyelid. So I'm just kind of buffing it in, going in circular motions. The brush actually does most of the work with the blending, which is why it's so good. These are all synthetic brushes, obviously, no animal hairs, and actually all of the Ere Perez products are all vegan as well. So I'm just applying this all over the eyelid up to the socket line, just making sure that it's soft around the edges and there's no lines. And then with the line side, which is an angled side, I'm going to do a little bit underneath the lash line. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of definition just into the crease. So I'm going to use the fourth shade, and this one's just a touch darker, so it's just going to add a little bit of depth and definition in the crease. So it's like you're just following a train track. Just follow the same line. I think where a lot of people make mistakes with blending in the crease is they kind of end up going like this and like flicking out the colour, so it ends up a bit messy down here. They take the brush away from the skin too much, which means that you kind of get this, you blend it too high, or you just end up blending it all over the eyelid. If you keep the brush actually on the skin at all times and just follow that same line backwards and forwards, then you end up getting it where you want it to go. So I'm only taking this about 2/3 of the way in. I'm not taking it too close to the inner corner, because if you put too much dark shadow in the inner corners of the eyes, you're going to end up making your eyes look much smaller, and they're going to kind of draw, your face is going to be drawn in. You want it to kind of draw out and up. You've also just lifted this area with the concealer, so you don't want to start adding any darkness there. So now I'm going to line the top lash line. This just helps to add a little bit more definition, makes your lashes look a little bit thicker. So I'm going to take the jojoba eye pencil, and this is in shade Bronze. So I'm just going to scribble this right along the top lash line, almost in between the lashes. And then, because these are such soft pencils, they're really easy to kind of smoke out and blend a little bit. So you don't need to worry about it being a perfect line. And then with the smudge and shade brush, and then just go over that line that I've just drawn. And this will just help to soften it slightly. To finish off the eyes, I'm just going to give my lashes a curl. This is the Ere Perez eyelash curler. And I'd say this is just a staple for everyone. Especially if you're a little bit tired, this just really helps to make yourself look a little bit more awake. Just makes such a difference just from that. For mascara, I'm going to use the Avocado Waterproof Mascara because I want to make sure that it's going to last. And I'm just going to do a couple of coats of this. This is a really good everyday mascara because it's quite natural and quite lengthening, and almost gives you that kind of fluttery lash look. Okay, so that's top lashes done. I'm just going to do the bottom lashes and just apply a little bit there, which will really help to open my eyes up a little bit more as well. So next I'm going to apply the cream blush, and I'm going to use the Carrot Colourpop in shade Harmony, which is a really lovely dusty natural pink. It just gives a really nice flush of colour to the cheeks. And these are cream blushes that contain no coconut oil, so they're really good if you react coconut oil. And I'm just going to apply it with my ring finger. And these actually, it looks empty, but I'm actually going to be able to get another few uses out of this. They are so pigmented. You need literally the tiniest amount, and they really, really last as well. So I'm just going to go onto the apples of the cheeks and then just blend with my finger. So I'm applying it to the apples of the cheeks where my cheeks are kind of at their chubbiest, the fleshiest part of the cheek, and then I'm just blending the edges just so it's seamless and kind of a soft finish. You can also use these on the lips. So if you're in a rush or you don't have a lipstick to hand that matches your blush, then you could just apply a little bit of this on the lips. I'm going to use a lipstick just to show you another product, but this will also work very well. So I'm also going to add a little bit of highlighter just to give my skin a bit more of a glow. And I'm going to use the vanilla highlighter in Falling Star, which is a kind of a pearly champagne highlighter. Again, it's a cream product. So I'm just going to apply this to the tops of my cheekbones, just along here, and it just gives a really lovely highlight. This look is just so good if you're feeling really tired and run down and you just want to make your skin look healthy. And I'm also going to take a little bit onto the Cupid's bow. Last thing then is lips, and I'm going to go with the same sort of natural pinky vibe that I've used on the cheeks. So I'm going to use a lip liner because this just really helps to make your lipstick last, and this is shade Shy, which is a natural pinky shade. And these are really creamy, so you can just use these on their own. But if you want a lip colour that's going to last, use this first, fill in the whole lip, and then use the lipstick afterwards. So the lipstick I'm going to use is a shade called Hoopla, and this is their Cacao lipstick collection. These are slightly sheer coverage, so they're really good for daytime, just for kind of whacking on without too much fuss, too much faff. You don't need to be too precise with it. I'm using a lip brush, but you can just go straight in from the bullet. And just apply all over. That is the full look done. I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments if you need any advice on any of the products, or you want to ask me any questions. Find all of these products on our website. I'll also link them in the description bar below. And I will see you next time. Bye!